All right, guys. So I'm actually charging my car um, in a parking structure. Um, I wanted to go to the mall, but I didn't have enough mileage, so I found the closest electric chargers because it takes forever to charge through a regular. Sorry, guys. My gray hair has been distracting me so much gray hair in the last year. But yeah, I found the closest electric car charger uh, that I could find, and that's why I'm here. So I thought I would take this time because it's going to take me at least 30 minutes to get a decent charge to get me to wherever I need to go. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do a video, give you guys a little bit of an update on what's been going on with me lately. There will be some videos coming up in the next few months that will sort of give you an idea of what has been going on in my life. But I just thought I'd do this kind of update since I'm here in my car by myself, and just to let you guys know what's going on. So, I had mentioned this in a couple, I think maybe one or two of my other videos, but we really didn't know like when my sister and her husband were going to move into our house. And by the way, you're going to hear a lot of car sounds because I am in a parking structure. So there's a lot of cars moving around. But I had mentioned that my sister and her husband were going to be moving in into my parents' house where I live, because they were going to save up money to buy a house. And so we didn't really know exactly when. She listed her place for sale, and I guess it didn't sell like as quickly as she anticipated. I think we all thought, because what we're seeing here in California, at least in Southern California, is that people are listing their houses and the houses are selling very, very, very quickly. And so she listed hers, and it didn't sell like right away. It still sold pretty fast in my opinion, but it didn't sell right away. And so we were like, okay, like when is she moving in? Is she not going to move in? So it ended up happening mid-April that she moved in. So this is going to mark about a month or so that she has been with us at our house. And so of course, with her coming, moving in, I mean, as it was, I didn't really have a lot of alone time to talk to you guys or to make videos. I think I had made a few videos, and so those will be going up. Right now, I think it's only about one video per week, and it's probably going to be that way for a while. My parents, according to them, gave her 6 months to stay with us in order for her to save money. I don't know. There are other things that have happened. So I feel like that 6 months is not really, I don't think it's set in stone. And housing prices are pretty high out here. So I think it's going to be a while before they move out. I think 6 months is probably maybe best case scenario from what I'm seeing. Besides that, there are a lot of kind of conflicting stories, and that's part of the reason why I kind of want to keep updating you guys whenever possible, because the story was that they were going to give my sister 6 months. Once her 6 months were up, which is around September of this year, then my parents were going to start either list the house to go up for sale, the house that we're all living in right now, because then they'll be able to, I think my dad qualifies for Medicare. He becomes Medicare age, and that way they can move wherever they want. They don't have to stay in California, because right now they're getting insurance exclusive to California. So, or he's getting insurance, not both of them. So once September rolls around, they're free to leave and move wherever they want in the country. So I've been sort of bringing this topic up on and off because I feel like stories are just kind of back and forth. And so they seemed 100% sure we're going to sell the house. We can't afford to live here, blah, blah, blah. So I have been applying, and that reminds me, I have one more application that I need to submit. I have been applying like crazy for housing. Anywhere and everywhere that is taking applications, I'm applying for it. I've already gotten like 3 or 4 rejection letters. It's very, very difficult to find affordable housing here in Southern California. It's even harder if you're disabled, because your income is fixed, and they require, a lot of these places that are affordable housing require you to make, like, I think at least 20% of the median income or something like that. And what I get from Social Security doesn't even meet that. It's still below that. So I've been getting rejection letters. I have gotten a few acceptance ones. I have been applying for Section 8, which is different than affordable housing, but I haven't heard anything from those either. Well, I think there's a few of them that I have been put on a waiting list, but it's literally for like a specific apartment complex. And being put on a waiting list for a specific apartment complex that has a specific number of apartments, I'm probably like 5,000, on the list. And there's just probably, maybe 10 or something apartments available. So, I'm applying and applying and applying. I've submitted many applications. I'm still submitting, I get alerts and all of that. So there is also that component to it, that in 6 months, I know that I have these 6 months, the same 6 months as my sister. Then when I talk to my parents, then it goes from, well, it's their timeline, it's not on our timeline, and then, well, we don't know if we're ever going to leave this house. So it's a constant back and forth. And given my situation, I can't rely on that back and forth. I have to have a game plan, because I don't want to be left high and dry, when they decide, if they decide overnight, like, okay, we're leaving. So I'm submitting applications and keeping my fingers crossed that something comes up. So that will be the other issue once the 6 months are up. I think my mom had told me, she says, oh, we're not, they're not going to sell the house right away. They're going to wait until like early next year, which, again, I don't really know what to believe or who to believe at this point, because the story keeps changing. It was back and forth, back and forth. And so, I don't know. And like I said, housing is expensive, not just for those of us who are disabled or low income, but also for people who are working, like my sister and her husband. And I think, we've been kind of doing the house hunting thing along with them. And the houses out here aren't cheap. They're not big either. And I think she's going to need to save a good chunk of change in order to get what, a house that's going for the going price, for what they're selling at right now. So I kind of feel like 6 months is really, like I said, best case scenario. So I'm hoping that there is a little bit more time, because I don't know what my housing situation is going to be looking like 6 months from now. So that was that. My dog is gone. We had to put her down. So there will be videos going up. I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't want to start crying. But I did do a couple of videos on that, which should be coming up in the next few months. As you can imagine, it has not been easy. But like I said, I don't want to get into it, because I will start crying. It's been a rough month, because this happened right before my sister moved in. So those are kind of like the bigger issues right now. And in a way, having them, I was kind of dreading having everybody in the house, but because of the dog situation, and then also my housing situation, having them there means that I have a little bit more time, and there's people around. I'm not feeling completely alone because my dog is gone, but I have more time. And I feel like it's kind of giving me time to figure out what is going to happen next. The other thing that I've been debating whether I should even talk about this, because, again, like the exosomes treatment, which has not turned out great, as you guys know, if you guys have been watching my exosomes videos on my exosomes playlist, I hesitate now to talk about any kinds of treatments that I'm going to undertake because I just feel like everything has backfired so horribly this year that that I just don't want to talk about it anymore. But one of the things that, because I knew the situation with my dog, we knew it was coming. We knew we were going to have to put her down eventually. And I kind of anticipated that it was going to be difficult. I didn't anticipate it was going to be this difficult. So I started planning other things. And one of the things, my original plan that you guys know about, if you've seen, I think I also have a stem cell playlist, or it might just be the exosomes playlist. I don't even know. I don't even remember at this point. You guys know that I did several consultations with stem cell clinics in Mexico. This was late 2021. So in the fall of 2021, I think I did about 4 or 5 consults, and most of them were with stem cell clinics in Mexico. So my plan, and I even got my passport, I did all of that, and my plan was to go to Mexico because these treatments are legal in Mexico. They are not legal here in the United States. So I had done that. I had talked to my doctor. As you guys know, my doctor said no. She was like, I don't want you doing that. You're going to regret it. You're going to spend all this money and you're going to regret it, which I am regretting. I'm regretting it anyways, even though I didn't go to Mexico. But I still have my passport. My passport's like a year old, maybe a little bit over that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. There are other treatments as well, not just stem cells, not just exosomes. There are other treatments. One of them that I've been very interested in is plasmapheresis, which they do here as well. It's you can get insurance approval for certain autoimmune illnesses. I believe stiff person syndrome is one of those. At the moment, I still do not have a doctor at UCLA. My doctor left in January. I believe I did a video on that that probably already went up at this point. And they still haven't found a replacement. I had an appointment with a regular neurologist at UCLA. I think I did a video on that as well. I honestly can't remember, and some of the videos have not even gone up yet. But I liked him a lot, and I asked him, I said, he's just a regular neurologist. So for conditions like stiff person syndrome and, any kind of rare neuromuscular issues, they need a special doctor. And it's difficult to find doctors that know about these conditions because they are rare. So they don't have one yet. And he said it might be a couple of months. And this was like a month ago, maybe over a month ago, that I had my appointment with him. It was probably it was over a month ago because it was before we put my dog down. I haven't heard anything because usually they will send you a letter from your doctor's office or wherever saying we now have so-and-so on staff. I haven't received any kind of letter. He told me it might be a couple more months. It's getting close to a couple more months, and I haven't heard anything. I did have an appointment with an ophthalmologist that was supposed to be, I think, this week, and they canceled it on me, a neuro-ophthalmologist, and I rescheduled it for August. I said, I'm not going to go out there to UCLA. I don't want to deal with any of this right now. Like, I'm not in a good headspace. I'm stressed. I'm exhausted. And I was like, and the appointments, they only take appointments from 8 to 10:30 a.m. and it's going to be like a 2-hour drive. I was like, no, I need time to prepare for this appointment. And the doctor told me that she doesn't treat light sensitivity anyways. So I kind of don't even see the point as to why I'm seeing her. So I was like, whatever. Postponed it till August. So I planned a trip. I found a, holistic alternative medicine clinic in Mexico. And I said, at this point, I just like don't even care. I was like, I'll just go. I feel like I need to get out. I feel like I need to get away. It's going to be a very complicated trip. The logistics of the trip are going to be a little bit difficult because, as you guys know, I'm light sensitive, and fluorescent lights in particular are very difficult. And every market in the world is lit with fluorescent lights, fluorescent or LED lights. So the biggest challenge, I don't think even the airport or the airplane are going to be that difficult. I can have somebody wheel me through the airport in a wheelchair. I can use an eye mask in the sorry, I just blanked out, in the airplane. So I don't think those are very, very, you know, pressing issues at this point. The bigger issue is how am I going to get food once I get there? Because obviously I can't take a whole grocery load of food from here. I'm not going to do any check bags. I don't want to do check bags because that just means that I have to stay inside the airport longer. So my space is limited. Not that I could take a full, like I said, a full grocery run of food with me on an airplane. So I that's my biggest challenge. You know, also it's a little scary. I haven't been on an airplane in a long time. It's not a very long flight, so at least I have that working in my favor. The time difference isn't that huge. I think it's only 1 hour. So I'm not too worried about those things, with the exception of being able to get my food and do my grocery shopping, which I'm pretty sure there are services in Mexico. I actually have family in Mexico, so I can post. I think that's what I'm going to do, is post on Instagram and ask my family in Mexico, like, hey, are there any services? I know there are services where people can do your grocery shopping for you, similar to like Instacart here. I just don't know what they are, but I know that they do exist. Or even just hiring a local person to do my shopping for me. So I'm planning that in about a month. And I think a lot of it, you know, I'm not, my hopes, trust me, my expectations are pretty low at this point. And I am worried about how well I'm going to tolerate any of the treatments that they do. They gave me a treatment protocol, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't even care. Just do whatever you want. Like, I'm just so, after this whole exosome situation, I have become so cynical and just, you know, the lowest expectations ever. So, I think part of it too is I need to get away. I know that even though right now having company at, you know, having other people staying with us at our house is nice, because I'm not feeling that loneliness and that sadness from the loss of my dog. I know that after a few months, I'm going to be sick of it. I'm going to be tired of having people there. We have my sister, her husband, and her dog. Obviously, I can't make my videos as freely as I was able to, because there are so many people there. And after a while, I do crave peace. I don't know when that's going to be, because right now, like I said, my emotions are still kind of raw. But I do start getting annoyed having so many people around, and then just not being able to do whatever it is that I would like to do. Even just being able to walk around the house and not have to worry about there's other people here, you know. I do get to that point. So I feel like it's going to be a nice break. I'm going to be gone for a month. At least that's the plan. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. One of the reasons why I don't want to talk about it was because I'm very superstitious, and I was like, I don't want to jinx it. But at this point, I know that my health is the bigger issue. That's the bigger thing that would keep me from going. And speaking of my health, once you'll see in the videos where I talk about my dog that I did have a pretty big flare up, you know, because of the stress of her passing. But I also just this past week, right now we're getting close to mid-May, I had another sinus infection. And so I think I did a video. Yeah, I think I did a video on the other sinus infection that I had in February, and it flared up my light sensitivity. And I think those videos should be up, or should be going up. So of course, given that I only have a month until this trip, and I got another sinus infection, and now I'm in the back of my mind, I'm just like, is this going to start becoming a recurrent issue? You know, what is going to happen now? And then of course I had that light sensitivity flare that lasted a few months. I am now like worried that this is going to cause another issue, that now in a month I'm going to go into another flare. So I just finished my antibiotics yesterday. It was 1 week of antibiotics, and I'm very much stressed out over whether I'm going to flare up again, because the flare lasted really long. I had gotten better, but I don't think I was back 100% at my baseline. So I am concerned about that. especially this close to the trip, because it's only a month and my flares can last for months, as you guys know. So that's kind of the update. So I just wanted to I'll probably just upload this right now, and that way you guys have something to watch, because the videos that are going up are only going to go up, like, I think it's just going to be once a week for the next few months. And then, you know, so, sorry guys. I'm just going to put the windows up really quick. Sorry, there's kind of like there's a lot of homeless people. As many of you know, there's a lot of homeless people in Southern California, and right now some sketchy people are walking through this complex. This is actually located in a kind of old historical part of the city, but there also happens to be a lot of homeless people in this area. So I kind of saw the people and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna turn that off, or put my windows up, because I had my windows down because it was actually kind of hot in here. So I just want to leave you guys with that. I will upload this either today or soon. And just so that you guys know what's going on, like I said, I'm looking forward to being out of the house. I'm scared though, and I am stressed out because my health just is not bouncing back in the way that I had been hoping. And so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I don't flare up too much. I have noticed that my light sensitivity is a bit worse, obviously because of the sinus pressure and all of that. But yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's not that bad this time. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I'm just going to stop this here, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.